Emotional intelligence, as introduced by Peter Salovey and John D. Mayer in the 1990s, and further developed and brought to the public by Daniel Goleman, is argued by some psychologists that because it cannot be captured by a psychometric test, lacks true explanatory power. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Olujoke Mosako with the topic Emotional Intelligence. My guest is Pastor Andy Monehin, an international businessman. But before we delve into the program proper, as usual, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Until then, please enjoy this ride with us. Thank you so much, Pastor Andy, for coming on the show. It's nice having you.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Now, how would you define emotional intelligence?
We have leaders and we have leaders. Some leaders do, they perform very well, and some don't perform very well. And one of the reasons why some people perform very well and some don't perform very well is the capacity and the ability they have in the area of leadership or in team building. So emotional intelligence, if I would have to come in a very simple way, is the capacity, the ability of to understand your emotion and to be able to manage it. And beyond that, to understand the emotion of others and be able to manage the situation in order to have a good team and good relationship. Like leaders can use this. When you understand your emotion, you can actually use it to guide your conduct, because one of the things that people fail to know is if you don't understand yourself, your productivity or your level of performance will not be the way it's supposed to be. So if you are able to understand whom you are and you are able to know your limit, what triggers your emotion, and how to manage it in order for you to have for you to have a good team and good relationship. And not only you, because you are not alone, you have others that you are working together. So your ability to go beyond yourself and know others, you know their emotion, and able to manage it properly in order to have good atmosphere that can enhance productivity. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now, what are the skills that explains emotional intelligence? Does it affect anything?
Thank you so much. Emotional intelligence has a lot of yardstick or a lot of skills, but if we want to begin to mention from now, we won't be able to exhaust it. So I would just want to cluster it into about 4 different headings in order for us to have a better understanding of it. Like I said in the introductory aspect, in the definition, the first skill is self-awareness. Self-awareness. There is this popular say that knowledge is power. And when you have knowledge, you'll be able to know how to use the knowledge, the power that you have, in order to achieve what you want to achieve. So when you are able to identify some traits in you and be not just understanding it, if you are able to just know it, you are able to understand it, you know how to make use of that in order to have a better relationship or a better team. For example, if you are able to know what triggers your reaction, if you're able to note that, you will be able to know how to manage it in order to be able to have a better relationship. So it involves understanding your emotions, your value system, your weaknesses, and your strengths. And if you know this, at least one of the four basic things you are supposed to know as a leader that could excel in the area of emotional intelligence, you are good to go. But beyond this is the ability to manage this. Knowing something is not the end. So if you are able to know how to manage this trait that you have, you will know what you have to improve on, what to delete, and what to add. For example, growing up in from area the way where I come from, if someone that is older than you is talking, I bet you can't you can't have an eye contact. It shows a disrespect. But in the resetting or where we are now, this part of the world, I want to believe that if you don't have an eye contact, it's like you are not communicating. It can show some level of disrespect. So, but for your ability to really know this and make adjustment, that is what modification or the management is all about. So the capacity to control your impulse, and build a personality that will minimize negative impact in the team. So from there we move to, because you are not the only one in the team, and to succeed you have to know how to manage others. So social awareness, and in this way now you have to understand the emotion of others. And I sincerely believe that this is where majority of people will fail, because people won't tell you whom they are. So there is this word, empathy. You must be able to put yourself in their shoe and understand how they feel. And how to do this, you really have to be on top of your game, because when you are talking about communication, there are a lot of things that people say without speaking. There are a lot of non-verbal cues that people use to communicate, and if you are not down to earth, you won't be able to know this. So the ability to go beyond yourself, to knowing those that you are working together, and be able to know what they feel and come from their own angle. I want to say that if you are able to do this, definitely there is something that will be established in the organization. The organization will run with less of you and more of the people. So the last one that I want to talk about is the social skill, which is relationship management. In this place, we really talk about the ability to interact, and to communicate. Like I made mention of the nonverbal cue. In the area of communication, there are some signs that you show that make people to believe in you. And there are some signs too that when you show it, it shows that you don't care. For example, if you are working in a system where some people could not communicate very well, you have to be an intentional listener. There is difference between hearing and listening. You have to be an intentional listener. And one of the ways that you can really make that other person to be comfortable, for example, if that person is narrating something to you, after the narrative, if you can give a recap of what that person said, maybe using your own words, and the person will be very, very happy. And at this level, I want to believe that you are building a bond between you and that person. So it goes beyond that to developing others. So with these 4 skills, I believe that a leader can excel. That is, you have your self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and the social skill, majorly communication. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now, is it that is actually particular to a leader, or it has to do with every human being?
It's not just about leaders. When we are talking about people, it starts from the family, the church, even let me just give a scenario. Maybe this will help, a practical example of my situation relocating from Nigeria to the United States of America. In a home, I used to hear daddy, daddy, something like that. Nobody mentions my name. And when I go to my place of work, because I have people that are working for me, all I have is, oh, boss, boss. And as a pastor in the church, all I used to hear was daddy, daddy. So the name Andy doesn't pop up at any point except if I have my own people. So when I made that decision to come in here, I knew there would be problem. So I quickly realized that the identity I had will not be able to make me to have an easy way of socializing into this environment. So what did I do? I began to talk to myself. Andy, you are nobody. You are just coming you are just coming in here to build an identity. You are nobody. You are nobody. And when I came in here, I can bet it with you. The first place where I worked, I had a couple of people that were at the age of my daughter, they would just say, Andy. Firstly, it was strange, but later on, I got used to it. Do you know what this eventually did for me? It was easy for me and those people to gel together. And with time, like some of them that now got close to me, when we now begin to talk, they will begin to see some aspect of me that I didn't see. And at the end of the day, the value I used to have that I had to jettison because I wanted a bond. I just don't want to come like somebody that they won't accept. It was very, very easy. And today now, they know me for whom I was, but the bond has been formed already. So it's not a case of a leadership in a company alone. Wherever you find yourself, you have to know how to identify yourself, and the people that you are working together, you have to be able to understand them very well and flow along that same line. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that scenario. Now, having listened to you, I want to pick from, deducing from what you just said about your personal life and how you needed to speak to yourself to make yourself understand that, yes, I am this person in Nigeria, but here I am nothing of that. Why is emotional intelligence important, using what you've just said?
I want to use, there's something they call person/role dichotomy or paradigm. Whom you are might not be the personality to succeed in that position or in that place that you find yourself. For example, if you are in customer service, you are not you. You are the image maker of that company. So, ability to, maybe if someone speak to you anyhow, you know that your fuse is very, very short. You can get angry easily, honestly, because you are not representing yourself. You are representing an organization. You have to know how to contain your emotion in that perspective, so that when people talk to you, you should be able to know how to talk to those people in order to win them. Because this, for example, might be one of the things you'll be dealing with every day. So, emotional intelligence, I want to say, is perceived as pro-human. In broadly, leadership is about two things. If you want to lead your home, your organization, church, we have two broad ways to it. It's either you are task oriented or you are people oriented. And the task oriented, I want to say, belongs to those that, the type of intelligence we used to have, the IQ and the skills. There are a broad way there are rules that guide this company, and everybody has to abide by it. But because the people that are together in that organization are human, they are not robots, they are not machine. They have their own emotions too. And in order to succeed, they have to be happy. If I want to give a scenario here, I have a friend who was an auditor with a bank some times ago. She is someone you want to have in your team because this person I'm talking about is task oriented. Give her a task. He is not thinking about her time. He is not thinking about anything, but he wants to get it accomplished, and he will do it in such a way that everybody will give her a standing ovation. But there was something that was problem. What was this problem? She is a late riser. As a banker, you have to get to the bank very early. So when she goes to bank, perpetually coming late, if you have to be the leader that you are supposed to be, you are supposed to show that person an exit door. But the management called her after much deliberation. What do you know what they did? They gave her resumption time, maybe around 10 o'clock, that can make her to be able to be on that desk without feeling being late. But do you know that this person eventually decided to work for them late at night, and the best of that person was gotten. So at that level, when you have a scenario like this, you will have followers that are organic in nature, followers that are ready to stake their lives for you. Let me give you an example. I was majorly into gas and oil when I was in Nigeria, and there was a day I got to the house, there was no light. I had to call one of the gas stations that I'll need some gas at home. But unfortunately, I was in the house. I never knew that after I gave that simple request, there was a heavy rain, storming. Do you know these guys at the station fueled their bike and came inside that rain? When I saw these people, I didn't know they would come. I felt sad. I was like, you shouldn't do this. Those guys said, no, sir. You mean a lot to us. We know how much you can sacrifice in order for us to be happy. I know we are justified not to come, but we just want to ensure that you are happy. And the same thing happened in football team. There are some players, when their coach leaves to other team, they want to leave. Why? Because the coach, the leader, the leadership is pro-human. So in most cases, we want to prune it down that organization is about the leadership. When you see an organization that is making wave, you just go check the team and the leadership style that they use there. So I want to believe that when you operate with IQ, there will be a great working environment. Working will be fun. I spoke with one of my friends lately. He said that some people were not supposed to be in their job on Friday. They don't come to work on Friday by their schedule. But because there are some technical things to be done, some people will still volunteer to be at the work. Why? Because the environment was welcoming. It was all fun. So thank you so much.
I can attest to that. Thank you very much for that. Let's quickly go on this break. We will be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is Let's Talk on DNTWOK, and I've been speaking with Pastor Andy Monehin. He's an international businessman, and the topic has been emotional intelligence. So if you're just joining us, please ensure that you continue with us, and perhaps you missed some things, you can always go back to listening. Thank you once again for standing by, Pastor Andy.
You're welcome.
Now, moving forward, can a person cultivate emotional intelligence?
There is a lot of argument and there are a lot of school of thought about leadership being an innate or something that you can acquire on earth. Well, I want to believe that leadership, the emotional intelligence we're talking about, the style, is something that could be learned. Royalty makes a king, but it is the IE that makes the leaders. If I want to come in a simple way, if I was born by a king, it means that I have the potential as a prince of becoming the king because of my birth. But we know that there are some kings that are doing well and there are some that are not doing well. So the fact that you have the right, or you have this innate ability, there are still much to learn. For example, when we were defining emotional intelligence, we said that your ability to understand that you have emotions and your ability to know how to manage it. Have you ever seen, okay, I know when the president of most of the nations are making their broadcast, you will see them talking maybe slowly without pumping up their voices, and definitely this in most cases is a learned skill. So I want to believe that emotional intelligence, they are traits that you may possess naturally, but there are a lot to learn in that environment. You know, when you talk about leadership, you know, what we see outside, what we used to see is the tip of the iceberg. You know, when you look at the iceberg, maybe what you can see is just like 20%. The massive part of the ice is right inside the water. And in most cases, you have to learn this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. It's wonderful discussing this topic with you. Do you have any final word, even as we round up?
I want to just tell everyone that is in the position of leadership, be it from home, church, work, organization, and even to the country level, we have to think about people. We don't have to just think about the task of the organization, because when you have happy people, there is much and more to gain from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you once again. And to you out there, thank you too for being part of the show. I hope you now know that emotional intelligence can be built in case you don't know how to go about it, apart from the one that you were born with. So, and like you said, if you're a true leader, people will go extra mile for you. But if you're only task oriented, just want people to get their jobs and you don't care about them, then you have yourself to blame when you get the results at the end of the day. Until next time, My name is Olujoke Osako, by the way.